I put together a community television show called The JP Show. I took a bunch of flyers and I put them up around UCSC and Cabrillo College.
I used to be a student at UC Santa Cruz. I went to this improv class, and there's this girl I liked in the improv class, and she saw these flyers for the JP Show all over the place. Jesse wrote on the flyer like, "Hey, if you want to meet me, I'll be wearing the red beanie when we go to the bar." And it was so hot in there, he took off the beanie and it was in his back pocket. He remembered, and he's like, ugh, and he put it back on. And as soon as he put it back on, all these people like swarmed towards him. We'd meet every like Monday night or something and just get really drunk, but we didn't really get anything done.
I was doing this radio show at the time where I wanted to do on-air comedy sketches. Just have somebody on there to basically just throw ideas back and forth with. I met a guy named Swampy, and I thought Swampy was the ideal candidate.
I met Swampy by giving out flyers in one of my mom's acting classes. He actually pushed people out of the way and grabbed a huge handful of flyers.
We would go to like karaoke shows and just screw around. One night we came across Mark, who was singing just like Aaron Neville. We're just blown away. Me and Swampy going, "Oh, this guy's incredible, man. We got to check him out. We got to talk to him. We're going to get him on the radio show."
This is Sam Felch.
And I'm Sally Queef.
And I'm Rusty Richards.
And this is the news behind the headlines.
Swampy said there was this guy that was just incredible. He did all these voices and he was a character actor and he was just amazing. We were having one of these barbecues where I just kind of meet the actors.
They were putting together a public access TV show. I was really eager and fired up to do that.
I didn't really hear Mark's normal voice the whole time. He was doing, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger the entire party.
I met Matt through Jesse and then went on to make even more ridiculous videos.
I was helping Jesse film with that show a little bit. We just hit it off, you know?
Mark and Matt got on a creative roll and they just started cranking out stuff.
They just fed off each other. You know, Matt just wanted to film and film and film, and Mark loved doing takes after takes and let's try it this, let's try it that way. So it was like a yin and yang. It just was perfect.
They just started working all the time doing their videos.
It didn't make any sense, but we had a bunch of wigs and glasses and shirts, and we drove out to the Santa Cruz Hills and we just started doing stuff.
Just drove around and trying to find what trouble we could get into.
Jesse had like this cool 50s Chevrolet or something, and we kind of filmed ourselves around that.
We ended up at UCSC.
There's all these hiking trails up there at UCSC. You can see the whole Monterey Bay from up top by those trails.
And we just like open the trunk and everybody like pulls out like different little props that they think they could pull off.
I'm just wearing these Elvis sunglasses and this visor, and I'm walking around, and then we like kind of slowly formed the story. This guy's traveling, looking to go to this kegger, and he gets stopped by this crazy guy, Swampy.
Plays like a trail guardian of some sort, and you have to appease the guardian to get past him to walk along the trail.
He had these like latex rubber gloves on, and he's like slamming this pipe on his hand. He wants somebody to pick up daisies for him. And until he gets his daisies, not letting people cross the path. Mark is in there, and he plays this like crazy Conan the Barbarian guy, and he's got these little plastic axes that he's clanking together.
Pat got involved big time on this one. He was a supernatural fairy. He wore a cape, he put on this goofy curly red hair.
He started giving candies to people, and when they ate the candy, they'd be all happy, and we give Swampy the little candy, and Swampy goes, "All right, these are good. You can go. You too, pick me up some daisies." And you know, he sent everybody on their way, and it looked really good at the end, but we had no idea what we were filming in the beginning.
Did you do what I tell you to do? Huh? I told you to go pick daisies. I see a couple of pansies here with you, huh?
Rich Simbra did a sketch where he was in a backyard barbecuing. In the sketch, he drinks so much that he falls down on the ground. Rich hits the ground, and then the cooler's in the shot, and basically the cooler just starts to shake by itself. Suddenly the top just like comes off, and the beers start flying out of the cooler one by one. He kind of comes to, and then has this kind of like spaghetti western moment. There's kind of, I guess, an altercation, and then the beer cans march off.
I'm supposed to be a baby that's got left alone in the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk.
We shot the baby carriage without him sticking his head through it at the boardwalk with people walking around.
And that was at Jesse's house. We had a bunch of beers, barbecue the day, and he goes, hey, you know, I got this prop. It's like, I can cut a hole through this, and you can stick your head through, and then we can just do something. We'll see what happens.
It was a small little device of putting his head in the baby carriage, but sometimes that's all it takes.
Cut out the back and put his head through, put a little outfit on the fake body.
I had my hands right next to my face.
And he was talking to people as they walked by.
I had a guy's voice and everything, stubble on my face, but I was supposed to be this baby.
He got really dirty and really kind of sexual, and it was wonderful.
Hey, you with the loose caboose, come here. Come here, I need love. I need love.
Mark brings Rich home for dinner. Swampy plays Mark's mom in his sketch.
He played a psychotic mother that ate her son's friends.
Like, oh, come here. Oh, and who's got a friend?
James is in the video, and he plays the demented kid.
I was the short bus special little brother, so to speak.
We had a prop that night, and the prop was this Coleman lantern that I had. So it's used over and over in the sketch.
We really pulled together a fun storyline that day in Rich's house from out of nowhere.
Matt put in these genius clips. He filmed Swampy up in my room with all the lights off and all these candles on.
It's like a Monty Python type of thing.
I ended up getting killed in the video. Mark's going, this soup really is rich, mama, because they're eating meat.
It seemed to be a lot of synergy amongst all of us, and it really came together.
It was just creepy stuff.
They pulled it off. It looked pretty well made to me.
Mommy, wait, brother.
He's gonna be here any day now. That's right.
My mom is one big fat bitch.
While we were doing these sketches, we weren't planning on having our own TV show. We were just doing them and giving them to Jesse to put on the JP show.
I didn't have as much time as I had before, so I wasn't able to continue the JP show.
We kept his show rolling by putting out new material, and it was falling into my hands to turn it into the TV station at that point. So we weren't going to turn in our stuff and call it the JP show because it wasn't the JP show anymore. While we were turning in stuff for the JP show, we made our own side show called the B-Sides because we had so much material. We would turn in the JP show for Jesse, and then we'd turn in the B-Sides. And then sooner or later, it was just nothing left for the JP show to be turning in anymore. And we said, well, let's just do our own show. We came up with the Cornholes, as a joke. Although we tried to change our name like 5 different times, it didn't work.
There's always a major disclaimer with me. I did not come up with the name. So every time I ever told anybody that I was on this show to watch it, oh yeah, well, it's called the Cornholes. I didn't come up with the name. I didn't choose the name. I probably wouldn't have called it the Cornholes myself.
I was surprised no one else took that name. When I typed in the Cornholes, well, we don't need to go there.
One way to describe the Cornholes is like it's kind of absurdist, semi-structured ridiculousness.
He's really the guy who made this all happen. He took the time to go down to public access and turn these videos in all the time.
Matt is the ultimate guerrilla filmmaker.
He had like this old VHS video camera that his parents probably bought in like the 80s or something. He would play his videos on his TV, and then he would put the camera in front of his TV, and like that's how he would edit it. The finished product looked real weird, but to me it was pretty cool.
I really just got my editing system when we started the show. And so other than that, I was just mixing from VCR to VCR.
He seemed very excited about these ideas, accepting of these ideas.
I just loved doing the sketches, man. And I was pumped to get a show on TV, on cable access.
He makes you think something of him, even if you don't like it. He doesn't do things that are harmful or cruel or mean. It's just not a part of the character of his art.
He always lived at home with his parents.
Been living with mom and pops for a bit now.
They're a little older, super nice people that kind of gave him his space to just be himself.
A lot of it I don't understand, and there's a generation gap there.
but if he's happy with it and if they're happy with it, then I'm happy with it. I support them all the way, whatever they want to do.
I really thought it was a good idea.
Grew up in Watsonville, California. It's a mostly Hispanic town. Being a minority was interesting as a white person.
I would say that he was a good boy.
He was like the biggest, tallest kid, you know. He was definitely a clown, you know. We would both get in a lot of trouble. Went from sports to pretty much doing drugs together. So, I mean, we had that in common too.
I used to party a lot in high school and stuff like that. One drug leads to another, and we were using a lot of crystal. You know, I was on a methadone program. That's for if you're like addicted to opiates, or you know, you want to stop using heroin. Started getting so sleepy and tired that I like crashed my car 3 times.
I don't think his family really forced religion on him or anything like that. He just sort of found it on his own. It was something that he needed. He was seriously wanting to go to like seminary school, and at the same time he was telling me that he was like all high on drugs, you know? And I'm like, wow, you know, I don't know. You're gonna have to find a very special church.
Mark is like a very tremendously gifted comedic entity.
The ideas of these sketches a lot of times formed through Mark's ability to do all these different characters. To me, he's a comic genius.
I was just looking for an excuse to take my shirt off. Running around town in your 30s without a shirt on, you don't see that a lot, but if you have a public access show, you can take your shirt off. Sometimes you can take your pants off, so that's really all I wanted to do with this whole public access TV thing. Praying mantis. Praying mantis, right here.
He didn't have a lot of places to perform early on. So one thing that he would utilize is karaoke. People would just like laugh until they cried.
Thought he was a strange kid at first, but kind of got inspired from him.
Mark's very good with improv. I mean, he's kind of like gets me going.
My fear is not really remembering my lines. Part of me has to make up for that.
He's one of these types of guys that he'll pretty much do anything.
Here's an idea, roll with it, and Mark will just roll with it.
Mark is extremely talented, and he has a lot of potential, but there's something in the way, and I don't know really what it is.
One of the first sketches Matt and I did, I think, was I did this character named Herb. It was just a man, he pretty much lived alone with his cats. Kind of a quiet guy.
A cat pulling his sleeve off his arm, that's all we did. You would think it would be nothing, but it actually had turned out to be pretty good. The next day we got together. I came back out to his house, none of us were working. We just hung out and he had put on his ripped jeans.
I tried to find the tightest pants I could at a thrift shop.
And a fake wig that I believe we used throughout the entirety of our show. I swear to God, everybody's used the wig at one time or another. An older dude not wanting to grow up, strolling through bowling alleys, playing video games, slurping on Slurpees, talking to his girlfriend on a payphone, and the dude's like 33, right?
He can't get with the program, and he's just stuck in his ways, stuck in the 80s.
We ended up filming it on the boardwalk and at the bowling alley.
That was fun, just running around in, you know, butt-ass tight pants.
We went into the bathroom and there's 3 urinals and Mark's in the middle urinal taking a whiz. I think it's fake. Let's not get creepy. He's like putting his arms up and making the urinals flush and stuff like that. He's like, abracadabra. The security or some worker came in, he's like, we can't have you guys in here with a video camera. God knows what he thought when we were doing it, you know. When I edited that stuff up, he was blown away and he wanted to just start doing more work like that. One of our first 5 sketches, I believe, that me and Mark did was up at Mount Madonna. Herb meets Butt Nugget.
My character, Herb, runs into him in the woods.
Herb's supposed to be this like whacked out animal lover type of guy who's an alcoholic.
A lot of people get, they think that they don't know what those are called on their heads. They call them horns, but those are antlers, okay?
Right as we drive up there, there's like 5 or 6 coyote. We just bailed out of the car, and they just stayed in the background for our filming. But he was calling them foxes, but they're really coyote.
This is a great opportunity for us.
The incarnation of Butt Nugget was kind of interesting.
We got Butt Nugget, who's kind of this alien/Mongolian character.
Mark put me into this skin-tight spring suit, wetsuit, and then I put on a mask. It was like an old gypsy man or something. Mark didn't like that idea of me just wearing it straight ahead. Like he said, turn around, put the Butt Nugget face on the back of your head and walk backwards with your arms stiff. And that makes something completely creepy because all your focus and concentration and consciousness is pointing out one way and there's nothing. It just adds that extra element of creepiness to Butt Nugget. We just picked some random corn farm.
So it's my cornfield. It's actually somebody else's cornfield. We were trespassing.
There was no one around, and we did our sketch out there.
He just would kind of utilize Watsonville and shoot in various locations. I think he was probably risking getting shot at with salt pellets.
My character is basically telling the story of his run-in. I'm out there, you know, with my flashlight. Lo and behold, there he is, Butt Nugget. I just took those names that I heard, you know, growing up in school and just made characters out of them.
Luke was convinced that I, as Shit Teeth, was somehow related to the alien Butt Nugget. Boy, does this sound weird.
I think Shit Teeth is kind of the liaison with the alien, which is Butt Nugget.
Good old 25-cent machine. Pick up some Shit Teeth, run out into the fields. I still have those Shit Teeth, too.
I know you're out there. Hello? Somebody there? Come on.
Mark played this character, Conroy. He's like,
I guess he's an old hillbilly kind of looking critter. We're going up the lake and we're catfishing and stuff like that.
We found this other guy named Mac to be in the sketch with him.
I tried my best to bring in creative people that I thought would augment the show and make things more exciting, and Mac is a really creative, fun character.
He's omnipresent, meaning he's everywhere.
It was just more ad-lib. It wasn't really true, any dialogue filming. It was just, you just say what you think at that moment.
Big John. Not only was it part of the sketch that he was going to go fishing, but no, he was going to go fishing. We weren't done filming. Mark's left there as his character going, "Hey John! Hey John! You're going to go... How am I going to get home? Whatever. Mac, what are you doing here?"
So tell me what's going on. Same old thing? Oh, hey Conroy! Are you ready to go fishing there?
We did these 2 characters called Ray and Deke. And Ray and Deke haven't got much aim in life, probably do too many drugs, and I guess we patterned it off of some of the people that we've seen here in this town, because there's a lot of people that are like that.
These grunge kids, you know, shooting guns off by a river, stuff like that.
I guess on drugs. That would basically be the gist of it.
We had no script, no direction, so we went and met Mike. Mike had no idea what we're gonna do.
He just shot us doing a bunch of stuff. walking across the field, walking across the train tracks, pulling out a gun, throwing big rocks, breaking them on another big rock. And he put it all together to build this crazy sketch. Matt, I guess, really liked to use his garage for a lot of things. It was convenient. I had gotten these backdrop things from my work. I guess he just put it up somewhere in the background and decided that we were going to film in his garage one night with Christmas tree lights.
It was a psychedelic video once again. But the reason why I like it is because the colors and the editing and the trippiness of it all just came together.
You can do these characters and you can be in certain states of mind, if you will, and not be. It's fun.
I think I draped myself in the Christmas lights and started doing some kind of weird dance out of random spontaneity, just to do something.
Swampy was a big personality, and he was great. He was always there. He'd always show up. He came from New Orleans, and he had a really interesting upbringing over there.
None of this would have had nearly the heart and creative soul without Swampy.
Swampy really kind of was the touchstone in many ways of me getting together with these folks.
He was a really, really good actor. I mean, he'd go up on that stage and nothing fazed him. He used to tell me he had a photographic memory, which would probably come in handy, I suppose, if you're trying to remember a bunch of lines.
He made a great announcer guy, Jimmy Pantoloff.
Hello, wrestling fans. This is Jimmy Pantoloff, here with the legendary wrestling champion, the Pipe Player. As you know, the Pipe Player and his esteemed colleague Cinderblock will go head-to-head against the World Continental Tag Team Champions, Payload and Felix the Funman Guerrero, this Friday night in Las Vegas. It's on pay-per-view. Don't miss it.
I was driving cab at the time, and so I recommended him, and he got hired. He called it Swampy's Magic Carpet Ride. He was just kind of a local legend. He ended up saving someone's life. He was kind of a hero in that situation, and he was just really kind of famous throughout the town.
We always kind of ran into him. He'd show up when he needed to, but he was always super busy. And so when we were downtown and just going to bars and stuff, we'd happen to see his taxi cab driving by, and then we'd just go, "Hey, what's up, man?" We'd flag him down, and then we'd talk.
We would have these barbecues and invite these various people that were meeting over and kind of just feel them out and see if we thought they'd work for the show. I remember Swampy was the only person that came around the side of the house to the back because he smelled the food. And then he ate, I think, some frozen chicken off of the grill that was not finished yet. And I had never seen that before because I guess you're really not supposed to eat chicken blood.
He had this little swamp shack over on Midtown. It was pretty gnarly in there. It was literally, swamp shack.
Him and Jesse showed up at my house with a couple cases of beer at about 2 in the morning, and my girlfriend had to be up at 7. Sat down, started drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and I couldn't get him out. He would just live life in the moment, and he didn't need any arm bite. He just wanted us to join in on his party.
Swampy passed away in 2007. What I heard was that it was just an enlarged heart.
He was 33, and it really shocked all of us.
I was in bed at home, going to sleep, when Jesse called me and told me that he had died.
He had a good send-off, though. Freaking cool send-off.
The funeral procession started at the funeral home and then went all the way to Brady's Yacht Club, which is a bar several blocks away. And there was a huge party there, and we all kind of celebrated Dave. And it was really impressive, just to see how many people he had touched. Now every year we do Swamp Fest over there.
Rush band now!
It's great to kind of keep that memory alive.
It's a testament to the kind of person he was.
Swampy's one of those unique characters that you'll just remember. You'll remember for the rest of your life.
This next song is dedicated to our good friend Swampy, who passed away 2 days ago. He was a big player in the family here at the Catalyst and with the Expendables. So this song is called War Cry, and it's for him.
Because I'm so far from being a kook, I wanted to kind of see what it was like to be a kook.
We got into his brother's closet and found this leather jacket.
He was just into his leather jacket, you know, smelling it.
You hear the sound of the leather jacket.
I just wanted to get that sound on tape, you know. I'm like, Matt, is the sound coming across? Can you, you know that sound leather makes?
Balls Deep, that was another concoction of Mr. Mark Underwood.
I wanted to do something with at the driving range. So I took the pipe layer and the kook character up to the driving range.
People were really giving him an eye, I'll tell you that, you know, and kind of wondering what we're doing out there.
He buys a bucket of balls, you know, and he's gonna go deep.
How he swung the golf club was very unique. Kind of looked like a mallet of some kind and a baseball bat.
The pipe layer can hit a mean golf ball. He can really take it yard.
I used to play a lot of golf, so watching those guys, Big John up there hacking away, it's kind of fun.
Didn't get kicked off the range. I was kind of wondering when the marshal was going to come down and do that.
Go deep. I don't know if there's innuendo there. I don't see it myself.
If you don't get the innuendo, that's maybe good because you're too young.
Oh yeah, I could go deep with an iron, but I can go a lot deeper with my wood.
Matt and Mark approached me one day and decided that they wanted me to play a character called the Conduit of Mysticism. I don't exactly remember what they wanted me to do. They just came up with the name.
It's just a man wearing his tinfoil suit, going out into the wilderness and calling down shit that he shouldn't be messing with.
I made this kind of like cone thing. I felt like he really needed to be wearing something, you know, especially like something that would almost be like an antenna.
Kind of looks like a nicer version of the Ku Klux Klan, if I can say that.
So I got up there and I just started talking gibberish and saying, you know, Odin beseech thee, bring me forth fire from the heavens.
Mike's really good at psychobabbling.
Strike me! Strike me with the full thrust of your magnificent thunderbolts!
So I knew that the road was there and occasionally cars go by. So I thought, it might be fun for me to run across the road and just stand there, have somebody go by in a car and just see what kind of reaction it would be.
People were even honking their horns. They're like, yeah, because we're out there acting like freaks. The Rangers showed up and they're like, you guys, you know, you don't have a permit here or a parking permit and the park's about to close. And Mike goes running over there in his tinfoil suit and he's like, oh, we're just doing a project for Cabrillo College. We're Cabrillo College students.
It was fun. It was fun. We had a great time doing that.
That was like one of the easiest sketches to do because all I did was wrap Mike in tinfoil and throw him to the woods.
Of course, by popular demand came the Conduit of Mysticism 2 at the beach.
We were going to go down to Ano Nuevo and I was going to try to do some sort of mental communication with an elephant seal. So instead of me conjuring energy from the heavens, I was now trying to conjure some energy from one of our creatures of the sea. Now we were a little worried at first because we're going into a nature preserve where we could be like shooed away by the park rangers. So we had to kind of do this a little bit on the sly. I decided, okay, I gotta be very wary because I've seen documentaries on these creatures and these creatures are not big slovenly lumps of blubber. They can get up and start moving towards you pretty quickly.
I'm kind of concerned that maybe that sea lion was dead, but they didn't tell me.
There is an energy that flows throughout all the creatures of the land and the sea. I wish to transform myself into the power of that energy I wish to become one with it, so it encompasses my very being.
Matt played the character Disturbed.
Someone told me to put a stocking on my head. Probably Mark. Told me to put these like gloves, isotoners on my hands, which made it even creepier.
It was on Valentine's Day. We're uptown, I think, at the supermarket, and we bought a Valentine's Day balloon with helium. It says I love you or something, one of those kind of metallic balloons. It's right across the stream over here. We filmed that.
So Disturbed ended up becoming not a regular fixture, but he had a couple more sketches in him.
Told him to come out to California for some California dreaming.
It was kind of like supposed to be a trailer or something.
It was just him running around. He's a vampire. He's Canadian.
Vampire costume that we just yanked off the shelf, threw it on John.
I believe it was in about early part of October. The wind was blowing, the rain was coming down that day, so it had some of the kind of the natural effects that you need.
Puts on the vampire costume. Start walking in the woods, John.
I'm doing my improv out there and I get my cape caught in the sticker vines.
Mark got pumped up and started to jump in there too with him.
Having Mark, the vampire slayer, crucible that he was chasing me with.
Mark found Ronnie Cox was going to be playing at Henfling's. Henfling's is like a biker bar. It's really small, jam-packed, lots of people.
We all collaborated on most of it.
Came up with this idea that Dempsey would be this like super stalker.
Neurotic personality character, played very straight.
Oh, maybe I don't deserve to be your best fan, but I am your best fan.
We had a little name for it behind the scenes called Nuts for Cox. We ended up with Saddle Pals.
We've all seen him in the movies and stuff, but we've never seen him play music. That was interesting.
He really didn't want anything to do with me. When I said goodbye, he did his best to be polite and ignore me as much as possible. It was sort of fun to just play that to that extreme.
Mark decided he wanted to write a little scene, wrote out some dialogue. It's very funny.
We were putting together a trailer, which was Escape from Watsonville, a spoof of Escape from New York, Escape from LA.
We were interested in doing kind of a short film.
Not even a short film. It was just supposed to be one scene.
Involving one of his favorite characters, Richard Munchkin.
What the shit was that, hombre?
It's not Richard Munchkin.
It's Munch. Dick Munch.
Yeah.
Walks around with these huge guns and he's just kind of a tough guy, but obviously with a little bit of comedy mixed in there.
We filmed it down at one of these local drinking establishments here in Santa Cruz. Did it after hours.
It just didn't end up happening. I mean, we started to film it, but it just died off because there wasn't enough time in like half the night to film it.
We tried to get it all done in one night. It didn't quite happen. And unfortunately, the project's a little bit in limbo.
That's kind of like how things kind of, in a certain way, went with the Cornholes, I guess.
One rule. Neither of you follow me out of here.
The Cornholes went downhill in terms of like Mark's presence. The dynamics started changing. When we first started, you know, like just how Mark was up for anything and I was like up for anything too. So it's just like, that's how we were able to get so many episodes done. Then Mike became involved in a relationship.
I moved back down to San Diego for about a year or so because of various things that were going on in my life.
You know it is. You get a job and some girl takes up all your time and sucks the lifeblood right out of you. No, I just got caught up in life, so I really became more of a viewer and supporter after that.
Some of our cast is gone. You know, that's some of the unfortunate things that we've had to deal with in this thing.
I started doing more and more comedy. Our school started growing. We teach people to be stand-up comedians. I spent so much time up in San Francisco after a while, I just ended up having to move here.
So it basically was just becoming practically a solo project at that point. Me and Mark had a big dream at first, you know. I know it's just cable television, but when you have a connection going with someone like that in a creative way, you know, you start hoping that something might come out of it, or maybe someone would notice Mark, or you know what I mean?
I think I learned a lot just by, you know, trying to put various sketches together and trying to organize things.
Learning about movies and seeing how things come together was really inspiring. There was some brilliance there.
These people are really talented, they really care, and on this hand, it's kind of repulsive, you know, and it just makes it really nice, you know. There's something about it.
You have to open up and come out of your shell when you are performing in that type of environment.
We just had a good time doing it. A lot of it was done out of boredom.
So we did like 6,000 videos, and I think 3 of them turned out all right. At least I like 3 of them.
It was such a funny little piece of time with a bunch of funny people that got caught on camera. It was fun to hear people chatting about it, actually turning to local access to watch something on there.
I would show it to some other people that didn't know those guys, and they would just be like, "This is the freaking shit." It would scare some people.
Either they like it or they don't understand it. There's no in between.
I wouldn't recommend it for the sober-minded.
These guys lived it and they loved doing it. That's the way to live. You know, you die tomorrow, at least you don't die with regrets.
I was hoping that would be kind of a stepping stone to do other projects, which I did and really enjoyed them.
When I put my videos up, I don't advertise them or anything. You know, part of me just kind of gave up on that.
There was some moments that actually I saw something deeper and more about the possibilities.
We still talk about sketches, and we may, you know, if we get some time to put some stuff together locally, then we'll probably do some of that.
I am still aspiring, you know, I still will write stuff down, write ideas, sketches. That'll never go away.
There's several other things. Other things that we'd like to work on, and I hope that we get a chance to do that.
It just was an opportunity to meet a lot of new people from Santa Cruz and other parts, you know, who just kind of were all here all the same time, interested in the same thing, and it was awesome. It was a nice experience.
I'll remember those people for the rest of my life because of the influence that they had on me, and just because they were just genuinely great people to hang out with.
They do not think about responsibility as much as they should, but they are happy crowd and good characters.
Hello folks, my name is Henry Rollins. We're here in wonderful pastoral Santa Cruz, and you're watching the Cornholes. Oh boy, I bet you're in for a lot of good entertainment. There's nothing like the Cornholes. Akira Kurosawa couldn't have envisioned anything this fantastic. Ooh, never touch your dial. Just watch the Cornholes. It's very good.